Good morning. Tricked you there, didn't I? Faked you out. I just had to get something that I didn't have on hand. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the Gospel of Joy. My name is Reverend Josh Knappenberger. I'm the pastor at St. James UCC in Allentown, PA. If you've been with us before, thank you and welcome back. If this is your first time, well, I hope to give you enough laughs to make you come back tomorrow. But if not, I hope to give you enough laughs to at least get through today. You can check the YouTube channel, St. James UCC Allentown. Check out the other videos that you may have missed. And don't forget to tag, tell, and share this video with your friends to let them know that we're all about joy and we're all about laughs. We're all about telling jokes and having fun in this time when the world seems to be falling apart. We're just making sure that we're keeping a playful attitude and being just reminding ourselves that we need to laugh still. So anyway, joy and laughter does very little good if nobody hears it. Good morning, Joni. Good morning, Carol, and good morning, Margaret. It's great to have you with us. Also in front of St. James, on 15th Street in Allentown, there is a box for books for the community. These are kids' books. It's a lending library. It's a ministry of the church. You can take a book. You can leave a book. If it's empty, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is sometimes. So stop by if you need something to do. If you need something to do to get out of the house, you can take a drive there and try your luck. Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Cynthia. It's great to have you guys with us, too. Now, my buddies, yesterday, I showed you this guy. His name is Mixmaster. He transforms into a cement mixer. This is the version from the live-action movies, and this is the version of the character, it's Mixmaster, from the original 1980s cartoon. You can see there his cement mixer on his back. And so, yeah, same character, different design, different times, but it's cool to show them side by side. This is also part of a combiner. I'm going to show you the other parts of the combiner in the coming week. And we're gonna see Devastator. Devastator is the combiner that he combines into. He's one of the Constructicons, which are one of the bad guys, but still cool. And my other one that I brought for you today is a girl transformer. Her name is Moon Racer. She's got her pistol there, and I like the colors on her. They're very soft and teal, and I think they go very well. So this is Moon Racer. Yep. Good morning, Carl. Great to have you with us. All right, so a few days ago, I talked about protests and how the fear of what those mobs might do affect us, or can affect us. We can't control their fear. We can only control our own. I'll admit, I kind of wish the police would step in and do something in some of those situations. But they are allowed to gather without repercussions. It's their constitutional right to protest in that way. But on the other side of the spectrum, but nothing's being done. Nothing is being done because it's their constitutional right. On the other side of the spectrum, there's a salon owner in Texas who opened her salon recently. She was arrested. Whether she was right or wrong, I'm not talking about that today. But the judge in the court was very hard on this woman. He sentenced her to jail time. Jail time and a very hefty fine. In some parts of the country, mobs gather and protest, and it's okay, it's allowed. And one person opens a business for a day or two as safely as social distancing allows. She has to be close to her clients to cut their hair, but she's penalized to the full extent of the law. And I wonder what kind of world we're living in where such extremes in the way the law reacts to what we do and don't do are happening. When I was a kid, my family took trips to New York City to see Broadway plays, Broadway shows. My favorite was and still is Les Miserables. I've seen it like 5 times in my life. I love it. But the story begins before the play starts. Jean Valjean is imprisoned and working as a slave for 19 years because he stole a loaf of bread. 19 years because his family was starving. And meanwhile, in the story, there's a tavern owner and his wife who are literally robbing their customers blind of their belongings as they travel through the town. Robbing them, stealing from their bags, basically. And nothing happens to them. How does this happen? Well, in first century Israel, a crowd of people tries to stone a woman to death because she made a mistake. Now, the Salon woman didn't make a mistake. She knew what she was doing, but she did it because she had run out of money for her survival. At least that's the story I've heard. Her choices were open the salon or not be able to buy groceries. Like I said, I don't know if it was that extreme, but that's the story I heard, is that she needed to support herself. Either way, Jesus comes between the adulteress and the crowd and leads them to a place of compassion where they drop their stones and walk away. And I think that's what we're called to do where possible. When the rule of law seems to go to extremes, I don't disagree that the salon owner should have some repercussions, but we are meant to show compassion and to bring compassion into places in which we see are void of compassion, in whatever way we can. It's the same compassion which Christ showed and led others to show, and we are the hands and feet, and sometimes the voice of Christ in the world. We remind others and ourselves that it's coming, say it with me, whether we live or whether we die, we belong to Jesus Christ. That's right. On with the funnies. Don't forget to comment and tell me which jokes you like best. Let's get some conversation going. Okay. Yesterday, was it yesterday? 2 days, yeah, yesterday we had a "You're a Preacher" if one-liners. Now I have "You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid" if. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you don't think 2 hours is a long sermon. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you refer to gravel roads as highways. You might be a missionary's kid or a missionary if fitting 15 or more people into a car seems normal. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you realize that a furlough is not a vacation. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you do your devotions in another language. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you speak with authority on the subject of airline travel. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you can cut grass with a machete, but you can't start a lawnmower. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you watch nature documentaries and think how good that animal would taste if it were fried. That applies to more than just missionaries' kids and missionaries. You might be a missionary or a missionary's kid if you can't answer the question, "Where are you from?" And this one's entitled "Bowling." Did you hear about the ministers who formed a bowling team? They called themselves the Holy Rollers. And here's a poem called The Gift, sent in by Eleanor Davies of Meadville, PA. I've known some Davies in my life. I wonder if she's related to any of them. Anyway, The Gift. Sense of humor, God's great gift, causes spirits to uplift, helps to make our bodies mend, lightens burdens, cheers a friend. Tickles children, elders grin at this warmth that glows within. Surely in the great hereafter, heaven must be full of laughter. That one's really cool. Okay. Comedian Steve Allen passed on the story from George Burns and his mother, which Steve saw in the epistle of the New York Friars Club. Friars, F-R-I-A-R apostrophe S. So like priests. When Burns, now 99, was 7 years old, he sang with three other Jewish kids from his neighborhood in the Pee Wee Quartet. A small Presbyterian church in the neighborhood asked the quartet to represent the church in an amateur talent contest at a picnic for all the churches in New York City. The boys opened with When Irish Eyes Are Smiling, followed by Mother Machree, and won first prize, a purple velvet altar cloth for the church and an Ingersoll watch for each of the kids. I was so excited I ran all the way home to tell my mother, Burns recalled. She was on the roof hanging out the wash. I rushed up to her and said, Mama, I don't want to be a Jew anymore. His mother looked at him and calmly said, Do you mind asking me why? Do you mind my asking why? Well, Burns replied, I've been a Jew for 7 years and never got anything. I was a Presbyterian for 15 minutes today and I already got a watch. He held out his wrist and showed it to her. She looked at it and said, First help me hang up the wash, then you can be a Presbyterian. Oh. And it's followed by a Jewish proverb, God could not be everywhere, and therefore he created mothers. I've heard that one before, but it's a good one. And as we're coming up on Mother's Day, it's a good one to talk about. And I got some cartoons here. Yeah. Oh, right. Can't read my own notes as to what I'm showing you today. All right. So this one's really cool, and I think it's really important for all of us with young children at home to be aware of. The girl is telling the boys, I feel all warm and happy when I see Mommy and Daddy kissing. Now, I grew up in a home where my parents showed affection to each other, and I think that is so important, that children see that their parents care enough about each other to do that. And I just think it's important for the health of our children to be able to not be afraid to kiss, hold hands, hold each other in front of our children. It can make them feel as though they are in a safe home. All right. So, but you do what you want. All right. So the next one is a guy coming to Satan in hell, and he says, so this is hell? It looks like my old cubicle. And yes, for some of us, the cubicle or desk we work at may seem like boring and hell, but well. That's what I got for you today. Thank you for joining us. Stay healthy, stay safe, keep laughing. If none of these jokes made you laugh today, make sure you find something that makes you laugh today and do something that gives you joy. And yeah, as for the daily message, thank you for sending me your ideas. Keep bringing me things that you're struggling with, so that I can keep coming up with some things to address that will be meaningful to you. And you can put it in the message, or you can private message me, text me if you got my phone number. I'll do my best to address it. And as I said, this Saturday, I'm going to have a message for kids. No idea what it's going to be, but it's probably going to have something to do with my buddies. So I'm going to have a message for kids this Saturday. So if you have kids, make sure they're watching. And I have it on Saturday because most of the people watching who have kids have their own church services they watch on Sunday. So a way to reach you, a way to reach you and to get to all of you. So, okay. I'm here at 10:30 every morning for the duration of the stay-at-home order. God bless. I will see you tomorrow, and may God keep you in the stitches of laughter and love today, tomorrow, and into eternal life. Amen. God bless. I will see you tomorrow.